The spirits in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are all lovely winks and nods to Nintendo history, and even video game history in general, thanks to Konami and more. However, in-game they don't really have any descriptions or explanations, so we're forced to figure it out on our own. Here's another entry into the Smash Bros. Spirit Tome, where we detail several spirits a week. This time it's a rapid-fire round, relatively speaking, covering the spirits featured in Nintendo's Spectacled Spirits event, that by the time you're watching this video will be over. But it seems like it's something that Nintendo is going to be doing with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where there are focused spirits for a weekend or a week or something like that. If you want to see more stuff like this, and also reviews, previews, news, and more all about Nintendo and the Switch, be sure to subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV. And that's the channel you're watching right now. And now let's kick off things with a blast in Earthbound Blast. Up first is Jeff Andonuts from Earthbound. He's the son of famed scientist Dr. Andonuts. He's a playable character in Earthbound, one of the first ones to join the party after Ness, and while he can't use the series' trademark Psi attacks, he's got lots of guns. That manifests in his Spirit Battle, which features lots of guns, a small army of Inklings, and his assist trophy, populating often, firing off rockets at you, the player. It's a hard-as-hell match, too, since Jeff is a legend in spirits. We'll go a little further back in that series by going to Lloyd, who's from Earthbound Beginnings, which technically only came out on the West for the first time in 2015 on the Wii U. It was an NES game originally, called Mother in Japan. It's basically a proto-Earthbound with a similar style and story. Lloyd is a playable character that mostly mimics Jeff's profile as a gun wielder who doesn't use Psi powers. The match against Lloyd is a stamina battle on Magicant, with Lloyd represented by Villager and a Rob Helper. But bombs rain from the sky, obviously inspired by Lloyd's generally explosive moveset. Villager was probably picked to rep him because of the fireworks and possibly the gyroid attacks. The last of the Earthbound representation in this event is Teddy. Teddy's a boss and also a playable character from Earthbound Beginnings. He's the leader of the Blah Blah Gang and generally seems like kind of a jerk for most of the adventure. His vices are numerous as he drinks and smokes. Apparently he punched a dude in the face to get his sunglasses, which ties into the Spectacles theme. After he gets beaten earlier in the game, Teddy shows up later and after a brief tussle decides to join your party. Apparently at the end of the game he pursues a music career. Good for him. For Smash purposes, his match is on Onett and Teddy is Little Mac holding a Killing Edge sword item. He wields melee weapons with purpose, but is generally an easy match to handle. Let's switch up franchises and let's go to Star Fox with James McCloud. Fox's dad is best known for being more or less exactly like Fox, except for his sweet shades. James McCloud was betrayed by Pigma and killed by Andross on Venom, so it's fitting his spirit match takes place there. Also, his attack, defense, and movement speed are all amped up as he takes damage. James McCloud is just out for vengeance in this match, and it's another hard one. Next up is Brittany from Pikmin 3. She's one of the 3 playable characters alongside Alf and Charlie. She's part of the research team working as a botanist, and of note, this tiny glasses-wearing space woman always takes more juice for herself. Thankfully, her selfish actions don't make the game harder. In Smash Bros., his match is a time battle with Alf representing her, and she becomes more powerful after eating, fitting in well with her noted gluttony. We'll go over to a more serene game with Animal Crossing. With this one we got Brewster. He's an Animal Crossing character that loves coffee, so much so he sells it at his coffee shop, The Roost. In City Folk on Wii, he dabbled a bit on gyroid collecting, but in recent games he's focused much more on his affinity for hot brews. At least as long as you build The Roost, you slacker mayor you. Brewster needs to work, man. Be a good mayor. Build The Roost. Falco represents Brewster in Smash Bros. In the Luigi's Mansion stage, accompanied by 2 villagers and an Isabelle. And of course, coffee cups litter the stage for added effect and also health benefits. And that's not the only Animal Crossing character, there's also Gracie, who's a rather fashionable giraffe and an Animal Crossing stalwart. She started off with a sweet car in the original game that you could wash, and in New Leaf she shows up every now and then to give players fashion challenges. Complete a few of those, and she sets up shop on the 3rd floor of the TNT Emporium. This sleepy giraffe has a spirit match on the Animal Crossing stage with a sleep-inducing floor. Also, transforming items populate the map, likely owing to Gracie's fashion focus. And then we have one more Animal Crossing character, and that's Lyle. who has the most exciting job in all of Animal Crossing, insurance agent. At least that's what he starts off doing in the DS game Wild World. He eventually becomes a rep for the Happy Home Academy over the course of the next few games, working alongside everyone's favorite slumlord, Tom Nook. Lyle used to nobly help you from getting hosed on fake paintings. Now he's just another cog in Nook's machine. For some reason or other, an otter translates to King Dedede in Super Smash Bros., so the smarmy Nook sellout deals more damage as Dedede and has higher defense when at high damage. He's gonna totally judge your house so bad if you beat him up, though. While Animal Crossing is a highly active series, Swapnote really isn't. Alas, poor Nikki, we knew her well. This spectacled character is from the free 3DS app Swapnote that launched in late 2011 and was super cool for like 2 years until it was killed off abruptly due to a rumored incident where the novel note-swapping service was used for nefarious porn purposes. Nikki resurfaced in Swap Doodle and also would pop up in Nintendo Badge Arcade. She even had a skin in Mario Maker. She also thankfully lives on in Smash Bros. As both a Spirit and an Assist trophy. Her Spirit match naturally features her Assist trophy and takes place on the thematically appropriate PictoChat stage. Her helpers are 3 Miis, one for each of the 3 Mii fighter types. I guess they all like sending messages a whole lot. Nikki isn't the only character from a sort of defunct game. There's Coraline, who's from the StreetPass game Ultimate Angler, which was a pretty solid fishing addition to the StreetPass games. It was made by the Yuji Naka studio, Prope. She works at the fishing club that gets your Mii all set up to fish and go to these different islands to journey. She's an endearing helper, and in her spirit match, she's represented by Isabelle. Naturally, Isabelle favors her fishing rod special attack as the battle rages on in a boat on the outskirts of Woohoo Island. Now it's time for the Wario portion of this video. We have Count Cannoli as first. I remember Wario Master of Disguise? Me neither. But Count Cannoli was the villain of that game, apparently. He fakes being a Master Thief and generally just plays counter to Wario for the whole game. The Count is like a bizarro blend of Mario and Waluigi, or at least resembling them both just enough that if I were Wario, I'd want to punch his stupid face. In Smash Bros., punching his face is akin to punching Wario's own though, as the anti-hero is the character picked to rep the Count. Items are dragged to the villain on the WarioWare stage to make the spirit match just a little bit more interesting. A Wario character that will likely be more familiar is the duo of 9V and 18V from the WarioWare series. When you play a WarioWare game, you know you're all about the 9V and 18V action, as they all have the retro games. The duo shows up in every WarioWare game, always showing off cute and clever microgame tweaks on classic Nintendo games. Most recently, the pair starred in the Gamer mode in Game & Wario that also inspired a Smash Bros. Stage, of which their spirit match takes place on. They're represented by Incineroar and Villager, and it goes out as you'd expect on the Gamer stage, with Mom occasionally coming in to mess things up. Also, Assist trophies show up, and they all call to mind retro games. There's another WarioWare character in this as well, and it's Orbulon, who's an alien working with Wario on his diabolical microgame schemes. At first he wanted to take over the world, but at some point he just wanted to chill and hang out. This smart alien is a regular in the series. Fun fact, apparently Nintendo Treehouse's Tim O'Leary voiced him in the first few games. Mewtwo is alien enough for Orbulon, representing the WarioWare standout in battle. A Starman from Earthbound shows up as an assist trophy to make the battle harder, as this Mewtwo also deals damage as he falls and can jump way higher, just like an alien would. Seemingly a lot of Rhythm Heaven characters fit the bill for this Spectacles event. First we have the Sumo brothers, who first showed up in Rhythm Heaven Megamix on the 3DS. They're featured in a minigame involving a rhythmic fight between the two brothers, with the players needing to time beats and poses. Earthquakes shake the Arena Ferox locale as a pair of giant Donkey Kongs try to take you out. The two big apes love to taunt, and their physical attacks have added power, for they are sumo. Also, we got Baxter and Forthington from Rhythm Heaven as well. The cat and dog pair made their game debut in Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii in the minigame Air Rally, where Forthington leads the player character, controlling Baxter, in a perilous game of airplane badminton. Forthington counts a lot, and the duo also made a return flight to Rhythm Heaven Megamix on 3DS. Their match aptly is on the Pilot Wing stage with the cat and dog duo played by Incineroar and Duck Hunt Dog. Items distract them, which makes the fight crazy, since items drop very often. To complete the Rhythm Heaven trifecta, here is Sick Beats Doctor. He made his debut in the Japan-only Rhythm Tengoku, which started the series, before showing up in the West for the first time in Rhythm Heaven Megamix on 3DS. The D-pad is used to fire off forks to stop evil viruses and good rhythm. His spirit match is on the Wrecking Crew level with a poisonous cloud permeating through it, I guess, to poison you and make you sick. Dr. Mario represents the Sick Doctor, as Pac-Man Ghost Assist trophies do a solid job of filling in for the ill beats that you need to defeat. There are other rhythm joints as well here as the Elite Beat agents show up. We might not ever get that sequel in America, but we can cling to their spirit in Smash Bros. Hailing from an exceedingly clever and great rhythm game made by Innes on DS, the agents are helpful souls trying to make people's lives better through music and excellent rhythm gameplay. A trio of well-dressed Mii fighters represent the agents on the Saffron City stage. Their power increases as time wears on, and almost like they're singing you a song and deriving their power from music, just like the game. If you want to get a little brainy with these spirits, we got Dr. Loeb from Big Brain Academy. He's this big weird humanoid blob that has a graduation cap. And he runs the Big Brain Academy. It's a spin-off of Brain Age. I don't really know what Dr. Loeb is, and it kind of freaks me out. Is this supposed to be a human? Does he know Dr. Kawashima? Does he have a devil version too? Anyway, his match has low and high gravity hazards with limited jumping against Dr. Mario and two Kirbys, trying to approximate whatever the hell Dr. Loeb is supposed to be. Seriously, what is he? I don't get it. It's freaky. At least the trio of Splatoon characters actually clearly resemble things. Bisque is a shell of fresh. That's the name of his shoe shop. He's a spider crab that has many legs. All the better to sell you shoes in Splatoon 2. His kicks and knee strikes have increased power in his spirit match, as the yellow crab is shown as Pac-Man. His move speed also increases as the battle wears on at Saffron City. Next we've got Krusty Sean, who's a prawn that rocks a dope tempura jacket, and in the first Splatoon runs a shoe shop. In the second game, he does what every millennial dreams of and opens up a food truck. Honestly, I'm still hung up on the fact that he wears a tempura jacket. That's really messed up, but man, he does pull it off. Anyway, he's shown as an inkling in a spirit match, getting stat boosts after eating, much like Sean's delicious food truck meals. Lastly, we have Annie. Alright, let's see if I can see an enemy. Annie from Splatoon is a sea anemone. In the first game, she owns the head shop, Cooler Heads. No, not that kind of head shop. It's for hats and stuff, not you know, things that, depending on where you are, they're illegal or legal. In Splatoon 2, she goes online running the Splatnak Gear Shop. Also, a clownfish lives in her hair. Her match is on Moray Towers, and I'm not sure what Sakurai is trying to say about Peach's hair, but Peach is the character rep for Annie and her sea anemone ways. I did it. Next up are Toadies, the jerks that try to take Baby Mario away from you whenever Yoshi gets hit in Yoshi's Island. Toadies are baby-stealing menaces that must be stopped. Aside from fledgling Mario Party appearances, they've solely been in Yoshi games, mostly whenever babies are involved, because Toadies are sick baby-thieving weirdos. The Toadie Spirit Battle is relatively simple. It's a team of Squirtles with rocket belts, who can throw well. Avenge the babies these Toadies have tried to capture by winning this match as soon as you possibly can. Next is Madame Couture, who's from that Zelda game that you probably ignored, the 3DS game Triforce Heroes. She runs a shop where Link crafts new outfits to wear in his adventures. She factors into the plot a little bit, having some mysterious ties to the villainous witch who, this isn't a gag, gave Princess Styla the cursed tights. They're not removable now. Naturally, since a Triforce of Links were the stars of the game she hails from, you'll have to deal with 3 Toon Links. Couture herself is Rosalina, trying to take you down on a tour through Skyloft. The next spirit will be the mustard of your doom. Fawful has Fury, and is also one of the most memorable characters from the Mario and Luigi games. He shows up in Superstar Saga as a sidekick to the ultimate villain Cackletta. After being shopkeeper and partners in time, Fawful got lead villain billing in Bowser's Inside Story, which you can replay or play on 3DS in January 2019 if you want to. He might be dead now. I hope not, because the chortles must continue. His spirit match makes use of the insanity of Iggy Koopa, equipped with a rocket belt. A Rob helps out, likely paying homage to Fawful's sidekick, Midbus, as the battle rages on in the Pokemon city of Lumines. A Bayonetta reference worked her way into this with Cereza, who shows up early on in the first Bayonetta, calling Bayonetta Mummy and generally making everyone very confused. Turns out she's Bayonetta as a kid, brought to the present day thanks to the villain of the first game, Baldur. Cereza is core to the first game's story. Maybe she'll show up in the third game somehow? But that's irrelevant to her Smash presence. Cereza shows up as Isabelle on the Luigi's Mansion stage, trying to run away from your fighter as a Bayonetta tries to take you down. That Isabelle has to be defeated to win though, as much as she tries to run and hide. You know, I was thinking about going deep into Metal Gear lore here, but man, I ain't got time for that. Anyway, you might also know Kazuhiro Miller as Master Miller, though that wasn't actually him because Liquid Snake pretended to be him in the original Metal Gear Solid. That's about as deep in the lore as I'm going to be able to get here. That's where my Kaz knowledge also begins and ends. This spirit references Phantom Pain, where Kaz was Big Boss's most trusted advisor in the time before Outer Heaven. Ken plays his role in this timed battle on Midgar. Ken does more damage when at high damage, and he's flanked by a trio of snakes to try to get things done. The other Metal Gear character here is Strangelove, who was first introduced to the Metal Gear series in the PSP game Peace Walker, and as previously stated, I don't know that much about Metal Gear lore here to say anything too authoritatively. She's the mother of Hal Emmerich, and her spirit match involves being represented by Bayonetta in metal form at Midgar. She gets backup if the fight goes on too long in the form of a Rob. Let's leave Metal Gear and go to a series that I weirdly know a lot of, and that's Captain Rainbow. Nick is a little dork who can turn into Captain Rainbow. He's the star of the wacky, skip-developed, Japan-only Wii game. He helps out offbeat Nintendo characters on an island in a way reminiscent of Skip's Chibi Robo series. Some of the characters Nick helps are Birdo, Little Mac, Advance Wars soldiers, and the dude who plays golf in the NES game Golf. Because of that, Takamaru, who is one of those old characters he helps, shows up as an assist trophy in the Fountain of Dreams set spirit match. Captain Falcon also works as the best analog for Nick's heroic alter ego. We also have Tatsu, who's a Nopon that helps you out in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like all Nopons, Tatsu's grating to many, but his worst trait in X might be that he's kind of a jerk too. He's a helpful jerk though, and while he's not playable, he plays support for most of the game. Naturally, his match is on the Xenoblade stage, featuring the fellow Nopon Ricky's assist trophy appearing. An army of Jigglypuffs are the enemies, though I guess that's pretty much the best approximation of Nopons with characters here. Now let's get one thing clear. Wrinkly Kong is dead and she ain't never coming back. After a few games of helping the Kongs, Cranky Kong's wife passed away before the events of Donkey Kong 64. Despite being a ghost for some 20 years, Wrinkly did find time to swing around and race in Kong spin-offs over the years. Her match is super clever, starring an invisible Donkey Kong. The ghost character is less affected by gravity and starts with some damage. However, Ghost DK packs a punch, as if the spirit of his grandma is coursing through him on the spooky Luigi's Mansion stage. That's not the only Kong representation here, although this comes from later on in his career, and that's Professor Chops, who's not to be confused with the tutorial pigs in Donkey Kong Country Returns. Professor Chops is the tutorial pig in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Other than that, they're functionally the same, being helpful checkpoint marking pals for DK and his crew. In Smash Bros., a white Donkey Kong plays the role of Chops on Congo Jungle. This pig can squirm out of movement disabling moves because he's always using checkpoints. Clever pig. Then we got Toadsworth. He's a weird character, first appearing as a voiced one in Super Mario Sunshine. Since then he stopped talking, but has always been a relative mainstay in the world of Mario, popping up in Mario sports games, Mario parties, Mario RPGs, and more. We don't really know his deal though. Like, who is he? Is he the first Toad? Is he like Cranky Kong but in Toad form? His spirit match is simple though. It's a no-frills battle against Builder Mario on the Peach's Castle stage. Alright, we only got 2 left and they're both moles, so let's go real fast. We got Muddy Mole. He's from Mole Mania. It's an oft-forgotten gem from Shigeru Miyamoto's past. Muddy Mole is the family man hero of the game, which was developed by Pax Sofnica and came out on Game Boy in 1996. Focuses on moving around a ball while digging through underground paths, solving puzzles, and thwarting enemies. It's a super novel game, and it's a shame that it's never been revisited outside of a re-release on 3DS Virtual Console. His spirit match is a simple one. It's a no-frills match against a Donkey Kong with the pitfall items showing up a whole lot. Our last spirit is Molly, who's a Kirby boss that showed up first in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror and made an appearance in Kirby Mass Attack. His spirit match is very similar to Muddy Mole's, except for instead of Donkey Kong, it's a giant Pikachu. Molly's character isn't otherwise that enthralling, he's just, he's a mole. and he does mole things. He's got glasses, which ties it into all of this Spectacled Spirits event, which, as you're watching this, it's probably now over, but here's this to commemorate it. If you happen to mess around with the spirits and come across any of these spirits, now you know a little bit more about them. Let us know what you think about this episode of Spirit Tome. Instead of doing the deeper dives into 4 spirits, we could do these ones where we tackle a lot more of them at once, because there are over 1,000 of these spirits. So this will help us get through them quicker, and maybe they won't be weekly, but who knows. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you about the direction of this series that we hope to continue. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, as well as news, previews, and reviews, you can subscribe here to Nintendo World Report TV, like this video, show us that you care. You can also visit us at our website, www.nintendoworldreport.com, and if you're feeling kind and you would like to support us in some other way, you can find us over on Patreon at patreon.com/NWR, where you can help make this site run as it has for almost 20 years. Anyway, I am Neil Ronahan. Thank you very much for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.